I am 87 years old today. I live in a house that smells of lavender and old paper, surrounded by the quiet hum of a neighborhood that has forgotten my name. From my window, I watch the world rushed by young people with their heads down, eyes glued to glowing screens, racing toward a destination they haven't quite defined yet. They look like I used to look. They move with the same frantic energy, the same desperate need to arrive. But standing here, so close to the finish line, I can tell you something that no one wants to hear. Most of those people are sprinting toward a void. They are winning a race that leads to a prize they won't be able to keep. When I was 25, I thought I was invincible. I had a degree in my hand, a fire in my belly, and a habit that I thought was my greatest strength. I called it the grind. I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor. I bragged about 5-hour nights and coffee-fueled weekends. I believed that life was a ladder, and every moment not spent climbing was a moment wasted. If I could go back to that 25-year-old version of myself, the girl with the sharp suits and the even sharper tongue, I wouldn't give her a stock tip or a winning lottery number. I would grab her by the shoulders, look into her eyes, and I would beg her to change one single habit, the habit of postponing her joy. You see, at 25, I had a mental list of whens. I'll be happy when I make 6 figures. I'll travel when I'm a partner at the firm. I'll start that garden when I have a bigger house. I'll tell her I love her when the timing is perfect. I treated my life like a rehearsal for a show that was never actually scheduled to open. I lived in the deferred zone. I convinced myself that the present was just a bridge I had to cross to get to the real life waiting on the other side. But now, at 87, I realized the bridge was the destination. There was no other side. There was only the walking. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was my Jack. We were 25 together, working in the same high-rise building in the heart of the city. Sarah was brilliant, vibrant, and possessed a laugh that could shatter the tension in any boardroom. But she had the same habit I did. She was obsessed with the 5-year plan. We would sit in dimly lit bars after 14-hour shifts, and she would lay out her map. At 30, I'll have the seniority. At 35, I'll take that year off to backpack through South America. At 40, I'll settle down. She lived her life in 5-year increments, always sacrificing the now for a then that felt guaranteed. Sarah never made it to 35. She didn't even make it to 30. A freak accident, a split second on a rainy Tuesday, and she was gone. I remember standing at her funeral, looking at her parents, and feeling a cold, hollow terror. It wasn't just the grief of losing a friend. It was the realization that Sarah's South America died with her. Her then never came. She had spent her final years working for a promotion she never received, saving for a trip she never took, and ignoring the sunrise because she was too busy checking her emails. She died in the waiting room of her own life. I didn't learn the lesson then. I was too young, too arrogant. I thought Sarah was the exception, not the rule. I doubled down. I worked harder. I won awards. I bought the designer bags and the luxury car. I remember the night I won Executive of the Year. I was 34. I stood on a stage, the flashbulbs blinded me, and the applause felt like a warm bath. I felt like I had finally arrived. But when I got home to my empty, perfectly decorated apartment, the silence was deafening. I looked at the trophy on my marble countertop and realized I didn't have anyone to call who actually cared about the person behind the title. I had traded my time, the only currency that truly matters for pieces of glass and leather. The habit of postponing joy is the most sophisticated form of self-sabotage. It's a trick the ego plays to keep you from facing the truth that you are responsible for your happiness right now. Not after the next paycheck, not after you lose 10 pounds, not after you find a partner. Now. If I were 25 today, I would stop treating my days like they are unlimited. I would understand that every no, I say to a walk in the park, a dinner with a friend, or a moment of stillness is a no. I can never take back. You think you're saving your life for later, but life cannot be saved. It can only be spent. And most of you are spending it on things that will be in a landfill in 20 years. Your career is not your legacy. Your bank account is not your value. Your legacy is the way you made people feel. It's the love you allowed yourself to experience. It's the moments where you were fully, unapologetically present. I look at my hands now wrinkled, spotted, a map of nearly 9 decades. These hands worked a lot of overtime. They signed a lot of contracts. But the only memories that bring me warmth now are the ones that had nothing to do with my success. I remember the feeling of the ocean against my skin on a Tuesday. I decided to skip work. I remember the smell of my mother's kitchen before she passed. I remember the one time I let myself fall in love without worrying about the plan. Kill your ego. It is the ego that tells you that you are too important to rest. It is the ego that tells you that you need to impress people who are too busy worrying about their own insecurities to even notice you. You are the protagonist of a story that is much shorter than you think. Stop acting like you have 1,000 chapters left. Practice the last time meditation. Imagine that the next time you hug your parents, it is the last time. Imagine that the next meal you eat is the final one. Does that change how you taste the food? Does it change how tightly you hold the hug? If it doesn't, you aren't paying attention. I'm 87. I don't have many next times left. But you do. You have the golden ticket. You have health, you have time, and you have the ability to change. Don't wait until you're sitting in a chair like mine to realize that the habit of the grind was actually just a fear of living. Eat the cake. Take the trip. Forgive the person. Say the words. Because the clock isn't just ticking, it's accelerating. Don't let your life be a series of I wish I hads, but it be a series of I'm glad I dids. The party is happening right now. Stop waiting for a better song to start dancing.